Hey, this is Beth and Kay at the library, and we're just doing a fun craft today. This will be in your kit. Everything you need to do the lighted bottle will be inside your bag, and you'll have the ribbon that you need, the glue, the glitter, the napkin that you're going to decoupage onto the bottle. And also, if you need a sponge brush like this, we provide those if you don't have one at home. We're even including a Q-tip. So, this is what the finished project looks like. This one has white lights inside it. And you'll also have an additional ribbon that's red, just in case you want to add a red ribbon. We didn't add one to this because we wanted it to be a winter project and we didn't want it to look too Christmassy. But there is a little piece of red ribbon inside your kit in case you want to use that. So the bottle that we're going to be using today is this. And Kay is going to start on this. And what we'll do first is she's going to make the shape of her napkin how she wants it to appear on her bottle. Okay.
Make sure we get all the red bird.
Yeah, and also one thing you might want to remember is down toward the tail of the bird, you don't have a lot of margin there, and so you will have to just cut just a little small amount around the tail. But you don't, it's one of those projects that you don't want your napkin to look too perfect. You want it to have imperfection and jagged edges and that kind of thing, and that's what gives it a really artistic look. So during the project, you'll also need just a little cup of water, so that when you start making the jagged edges on the bottle, that will help you with that.
I think that's good, or I need to cut some more?
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so pull that up, and so see, it's nothing that's perfect. You just want it to be a fun, artistic little project. So then after you get it cut out, you may want to just hold it up on your bottle and see if you're happy with the shape of it and everything. And we are. So Kay is going to go ahead and put a really light coat of Mod Podge where the napkin goes. And it's important not to really load this with Mod Podge at this point, because the napkin was a 3-ply napkin and it's been separated so that it can decoupage. But but it's very, very thin, and that's needed because we want our lights to show through when we put the light kit on the top of the bottle. Yeah. Okay. And then we've got the light coat of Mod Podge, and now we're just gonna add the napkin.
You think I need a little bit more? Maybe. Right there.
So right here, she's just really lightly touching the napkin to get it to glue down onto the bottle. When you're done, you can do just like she's doing. If you see a tail of the napkin or something that needs a little glue, you can always add that at this point. So I'm just barely touching that. just to make sure that it's down. Now, what we're gonna do next is see, that's how it looks now, but we want these edges right here to be kind of distorted looking and kind of more imperfect. We don't want it to be a real straight cut edge. So she's gonna take a Q-tip with a little bit of water, and she's just going to feather the edges of the napkin so that it'll take on that effect. Be really careful when you get up toward the red part of the bird, because
Like that.
right,
Just kind of tear it
right,
away.
just tear it away.
Ooh.
Yeah, and you're gonna get some particles of napkin, of course, that come off onto the side of the bottle, and we could just brush those away later. See if you can point it that way. Okay, now, you see how, just little pieces, just random pieces of napkin are coming off and making it look, more feathery on the edges. And you can also, if you don't want to work with the Q-tip, you can do this with your finger. You can, you know, just kind of like that. I'm sorry, I moved your water. So this is a lot of fun. This craft project is a really relaxing craft project. It's not real hard to do. It's just you know, and your Mod Podge will dry pretty quickly when you use a real light coat like Kay did, and that's what you want it to do, because you got some other stuff you want to do to your bottle and you need it to dry quickly. So what she's doing right now is she's just getting the little extra particles that come off on the edge. Okay, do right here on the edge right there, just a little. Okay. Perfect. So you see how this looks after she's got it kind of, the edges sort of distorted now. You see it takes on a whole different snowy, winter look now. And on almost all the decoupage projects that we do with bottles, you use the same technique. Okay, so then next what we're going to do is we're going to put a really light coat. We'll just brush away if there are any particles of the napkin. You just use your hand and brush away the extra pieces. But we'll go ahead and do, actually up here we're going to do a piece of twine ribbon just to cover the top of the neck of the bottle. So if you want to put some Mod Podge just around this part right here. You don't have to do this, but yeah, like from there up. You don't have to do this part, but it kind of finishes the look off a little bit and gives it a little rustic touch as well. Then we're going to add this ribbon at the end. Okay, and you also, when you do your twine at the neck of your bottle, you may have to add more after you get it wrapped around the way you want it to wrap. just kind of do a continuous wrap. And so when you get around to this part right here where it stops, you want to put a little extra glue and we'll hold it for a few seconds so that it will go ahead and stay. Right. See, one more dollop right there. So you just, that's all you do on that step. And then the next step that we're going to do is we're just going to lightly, again, really lightly Mod Podge the remainder of the bottle and add the glitter onto that. And the glitter is really, it's a really good step on this bottle because it makes the bottle look even more wintry.
So just all
Just from here all the way.
all the way.
And what I did with the bottle we showed you earlier is I did about half of the bottle in Mod Podge and glittered it, and then I did the other half and glittered that. That way it didn't dry before I got around to the other half of the bottle. I'm thinking we did one of these bottles last spring when we were doing in-house projects at the library, and it was really beautiful with all the spring colors too. So we may be doing something like that later into next year.
You think we got enough to do some glitter?
Yeah, I think so. Alright, so you just want to lightly sprinkle your glitter, and you just start at the top so that when you move your bottle around it falls down onto the bottle. We were talking about this project earlier, and we're thinking that if you wanted to use this project on a, you know, like if you wanted to pull it out again next year during winter season, or if you wanted to use it out on a porch or something like that, you may need to spray it with some kind of a spray coating to protect it. So now Kay is just doing the remainder of the bottle, or maybe this side over here, around toward the middle of where the decoupage is. And she's going to go ahead and do that. We're going to stay away from the napkin right now because we don't want to put any more glue on it right this minute. But once we get the entire bottle glued and glittered, we'll go back and do a real light coating of Mod Podge over the napkin and do a really light sprinkling of the glitter, because you don't want as much glitter on the napkin because it'll take away from the design. Glitter's fine, right?
It is. You said I'd be covered, and I am.
Yep. You'll have glitter all over you and all over your house. It's sort of like when you decorate for Christmas and then months later you're still finding little green Christmas parts of your Christmas tree. Yeah, you can do that.
I think it'll dry.
Yeah, it will. So I'm not sure what we ever did without Mod Podge. Might need more. And if you see spots, like see this spot right here, where Kay is seaming these two parts of the project together, if you see spots like that, you can always sort of daub your sponge brush right there, and it'll pick up the next time you do the glitter. Alright, I'll put some. Alright, so we're just finishing up the main part of the bottle. That almost sounded like Charlie Brown music to begin with.
It sure did.
So see right here, it looks like there's a little gap right here. So what we can do there is just kind of blot the sponge brush. And it won't matter if you get glitter on it, because we're doing glitter with everything today. So yeah, and then you just add a little glitter right there, and that'll patch it up. And as it dries, this project is drying at different levels because we're doing it at different intervals. But as it dries, if you see places that you want to add glitter, you can do that later.
I got a place right there, don't I?
Alright, so now we're going to start doing the front part of the bottle. You see how it's starting to dry, and so we'll start doing around the Cardinal napkin and get that part.
Touch the napkin or not?
I mean, it's not a big deal if your brush touches the napkin. I just wouldn't paint it very hard over the napkin because it's just really fragile because it's so thin.
Keep touching where it's wet.
Can you see it? So you could use this project either for a winter project, or if you wanted to pull it out for next Christmas, you could do that and just add more red bows and maybe some pine straw or pine needles and that kind of thing. There's a lot you could do with it as far as add it to your decorations at home. We have one of our participants in our art classes whose husband made her a shelf for all of her projects. So every time she does a project, she adds it to her shelf. Oh yeah, that's good. Remember that? Kay's loving her glitter. That looks good. I'll put some more in there in case you need spots of it. Okay. All right, so to see how that's looking really nice and wintry. And what we'll do next is we're going to go over to the decoupage part of the napkin. And we're just gonna really, really lightly put some Mod Podge on that. And we're gonna barely sprinkle glitter on that. And I mean, you can sprinkle as much glitter as you want on the napkin, but I just like it with a subtle amount of glitter because I think it shows the bird better.
Alright, so light.
I would even like just really, like barely even put any pressure on it.
Okay. Do I have enough Mod Podge?
You might need just a little bit more.
I'm just kind of,
Yeah. And I was noticing, I'm sure a lot of y'all who do crafts on a regular basis already knew about this, but I didn't. I was noticing that you can buy spray Mod Podge. So I think that would probably be a good thing to have for something like this, is when you finish the project, just spray the whole thing with Mod Podge.
you ready?
Mm-hmm. That's pretty. Okay, so then, so of course it's still drying at different levels, so it's gonna look a little bit patchy when you first do it.
Might have got too much glitter.
Okay. All right, yeah, that's good.
I guess that's gonna dry.
Yeah, it'll dry. And see, this glue is still drying. So while we're waiting for the glue to dry, when we took these lights out of the package, we noticed that instead of white, they're green. So you see, they're green. But I think they'll look really pretty in here. And I'm pretty sure that all of your lights that you get are white in your kits, but if they're not, I actually think that it would be really pretty to have a different color light in here. So you just, what you want to do on your light kit is when you get to this point, or when you're laying your craft supplies out, you go ahead and unwind your lights and kind of slightly pull them apart, because they're in a tight little coil when you get them, and you want them to thread kind of down into the bottom part of the bottle as well. And so this just fits in just like a cork. And you press it down kind of tight, and then turn it on.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that pretty?
It's pretty.
And then this is the bow that we're going to put on this bottle. So we're not going to actually make a bow. We're just going to do a real kind of relaxed bow like that, where you just tie the bow, and you can notch the bow if you decide you want to do that. Do you want yours under the twine or over it?
I think we should leave some twine showing.
Okay.
Let's do that.
And this is wired ribbon, so you can leave it like that, or you can bend it around. You could do. Sometimes I do this with a pencil, but you can do like this and do it, bend it in little curves like that. You want it notched or regular?
It doesn't matter.
So, yeah, I really like the green lights.
Mm-hmm.
So then here, we're just gonna do a notch on the bow because this ribbon is kind of thready. So I think it'll look good like that. You're just doing a little V. Okay. All right. And so that's the project, and then it's still a little bit wet, but you can probably get the gist of what it's going to look like when it's finished. So that's it. Good job, Kay.
Thank you.
And so y'all be watching for more of our crafts and art projects. We've got a lot of fun stuff coming up, and hope y'all have a great new year.